Hello and welcome back to the Nightcap. I'm Josh Rimer on nextsportstar.com. Joining us on the line right now, New Jersey Devils TV analyst as well as former New Jersey Devil defenseman Ken Daneyko. Ken, thanks for taking the time to be with us.
My pleasure, Josh. My pleasure, bud.
Ken, got to ask you, did you at all think we'd have an agreement of the CBA at 5 a.m. on a Sunday morning?
Well, I believed all along, I guess, like some people, and there was a lot of negativity, but I believed there was going to be a season, and if there wasn't, I would have been shocked from the simple standpoint that it would have devastated the game of hockey, and obviously we know it's big business, and these things can get ugly, and both sides held firm, but fortunately enough for the hockey world, certainly hockey fans, it was great to see they finally got something done, and we're going to have a season after all.
Were you up as well at 5 a.m. waiting for the deal to get done like a lot of us were out here?
No, that's for you guys that cover all that. I cover more my local team, and certainly I was woken up to a pleasant morning and a cup of coffee to see that they made an agreement. But I just felt all along, I was getting a little nervous. I thought it would be earlier. One side would maybe give in a little more, but to get it done, however, finally they were able to come to an agreement, which is great for the game of hockey. That's for sure. I know it's going to take a little bit to get some fans back and understand that these things can be very difficult, but we don't have to worry about it for at least 8 to 10 years now, and that's a good thing.
How long do you think it'll take for the fans to come back? Do you think it's going to take a little bit, or do you think maybe we can in New Jersey, you guys in the last shortened season, I'm sure they'll remember in the back of their minds that you guys won the cup the last shortened season. So maybe that's a way to put keep the butts in the seats in New Jersey.
I hope that piques their interest, and they're hoping for a little bit of a repeat or deja vu, if you will, from the last time there was a 48-game schedule. Obviously, we were fortunate enough to win the Stanley Cup then. So I know some fans are excited about that, and they'll live off anything as far as or any kind of hope or excitement, and that's what they're going to talk about. And they have talked about the fact that we won it the last time there was a shortened season. So let's see what happens. But like I said, great day for the fans. I think it's going to be difficult, obviously, for some casual fans. We really had to gain momentum, gain interest, but I think in the long run, hockey will be just fine.
Now, Ken, during that shortened season you played in 1994-95, the year you guys won the Cup, did you guys prepare differently at all since it was going to be a short season? Did you guys do anything differently than you would during an 82-game season?
I don't know if we did anything differently. I know our team was coming off a terrific year the year before and losing an epic series against the Rangers there in double overtime, and we felt that we were a team that was going to vie for the Stanley Cups. We were very disappointed that we were going into a lockout, and it was very disappointing. So mentally it was very tough for all players, but certainly for our team, we felt that we had a good opportunity to get to the next level and win a Stanley Cup. But I think going into the year, we just knew we had a veteran team, a playoff-tested team, that if we get in, we're going to be dangerous. Because we didn't play that well, really. I mean, you can't get yourselves off to a bad start. I think the key for the coaches and management is to make sure these guys understand that you have to play consistent. You have to not go in any kind of prolonged slump, whether it be as a team or certainly individually, your offensive production or your goaltending has to be solid right out of the gate, because you're going to find yourself, if you come out of the gate 2-8, you'll find yourself on the outside looking in. And I think every team expresses that to their players, that we got to find chemistry right away, and hopefully things start to gel, and you get yourself off to a good start and feeling good about your team.
Ken, after the CBA was agreed to, Ilya Kovalchuk came out and basically stated that he was going to wait it out. He wanted to see the agreement before he did anything. But he also kind of hinted at that he might end up staying over in Russia and continue to play in the KHL this year. What did you think about that coming out and what Ilya said? Were you at all shocked that he said that? What are your thoughts on that, Ken?
Well, I'm not a guy that likes to speculate too much. We'll wait and see. I'm a firm believer he'll be back in the National Hockey League. And I don't listen to everything, or I don't listen to everything that's written or said, because a lot of times it's out of context. So we will wait and see what happens. I'm sure from a standpoint of the KHL, maybe they're going to try to lure a star like Ilya Kovalchuk back, and they have plenty of money to do that. But if I'm a player, I certainly want to play in the best league in the world, and that's the National Hockey League. And we know here in New Jersey, we certainly need him, that's for sure. But I think when it's all said and done, he's going to be here. And, yeah, maybe he ruffled a few feathers, and, you know, these guys have a tendency to do that every once in a while and have a tendency for the dramatics. But Ilya Kovalchuk played real well last year. He bought into a system. He bought into the team concept, and he was a terrific player. So we're hoping he gets back, and I hope nobody, is too hard on him about some of his comments, and I'm sure it will all be smoothed over if and when he comes back. But I'm a firm believer, like Lou Lamoriello has said, the general manager, that I have no reason not to believe Ilya Kovalchuk will be in New Jersey.
Ken Daneyko joining us, New Jersey Devil, color analyst, TV analyst, on the broadcast. You also do some studio work as well, I know, the pre- and post-game show. Former New Jersey Devil, Ken Daneyko on the line with us. Ken, you guys lost an important piece last year in Zach Parise. How do you think the Devils will do without Zach, and who do you see as the guy to really step it up in Zach's place?
Well, you don't replace Zach Parise. I mean, we know he was the captain. He was a guy that gave it 100% every night, and obviously with a high skill level. So it was a difficult thing to see him go to Minnesota. However, that was his decision. We know this is part of the game. It's a part of the business now, and I know the Devils did everything in their power to keep him. At the end of the day, he decided to go to his hometown. And look, you got to move forward. You can't dwell on things like this. And yeah, it's a big hole to fill, but it's the young guys like a Jacob Joseph. If he stays healthy, he's played well in the minors. He's a guy that could take the next step, and you're going to have to do it collectively with a few guys. I mean, Travis Sajak's back in full form. You know, he didn't play all that much last year, and he's such a valuable piece. He's so good in all phases of the game, defensively, face-offs, and offensive production. So he's a guy they're going to need. They're really going to miss. Adam Henrique is going to miss the first couple of weeks, it looks like. He's a guy that, boy, oh boy, for a young kid, does he love the spotlight, and he scored so many dramatic goals in the playoffs, as we all know. So they're going to miss him a little bit, but I look at a guy like Matthias Tenenby. This is a make-or-break year for him. He's got to come into camp. He's got to make an impact. He's got a lot of offensive skill, a lot of speed, but he's going to have to show the coaching staff he can do it on a nightly basis and play consistent and produce offensively. So those are a couple of the guys that I feel would have to, step up and maybe help fill that void with Zach. And then you look at a Bobby Butler, who the Devils signed. It's always those quiet signings with Lou Lamoriello, who are not the big splash he doesn't always make. And then Bobby Butler's been down in the minors. He started slow, but he's been on quite a tear for them down there. So he's the guy that's going to get every opportunity to make the club, and they're hoping he can fill that void and maybe pot 10, 12, 15 goals in the shortened season to make up for the loss of Zach Parise. But you got to move forward. It was difficult, and we were disappointed here in New Jersey, that's for sure. But Zach's a first-class guy, and that was his decision. And as we know, it was a lot of money, so Zach decided to go home.
Ken, do you see Lou Lamoriello, possibly doing a deal or two, or maybe a signing prior to training camp next or this Sunday?
That's not usually Lou's MO. That's not usually how he does things. He's not a knee-jerk reaction type of guy. He's the guy that waits and sees what he has in camp, and if it's a week or two in and he sees he needs to avoid, then he will be out there looking for whether it be a forward, an offensive player, or whatever that may be. So I don't expect it right out of the gate in the first week of camp, but possibly, Josh, maybe a week or two into the season if he feels there's something missing with the club.
What about Peter Sikora? Is there any chance that we see him back in a Devils jersey this year?
Well, we haven't heard much about it. I know Peter would like to come back to camp, and Lou says it's a possibility. He doesn't show his cards too often, as you guys know. He keeps them pretty close to the vest, so it'll be interesting. Or does he want to give a young guy a chance? My gut feeling says he wants to wait and see and see if some of these young guys can seize an opportunity and make the big club and possibly add to the add to the chemistry and add to, some of the youth they have there, along with the veterans like a Patrick Taliash and guys like that still have a lot left in the tank. But I think Lou's going to wait and see what he has in camp.
How's the health of the New Jersey Devils besides Adam Henrique? I know you mentioned he's going to be out for a couple weeks. How's the rest of the health with some of the players going into the season?
Well, it seems everybody's relatively healthy. I know Marty Brodeur, we got 2 aging goaltenders, but they're chomping at the bit to get going, and it could benefit guys like that in a shortened season as long as they come out of the gate well. We know sometimes younger guys have a tendency to come out a little faster, but they've been keeping themselves in terrific shape, so I don't see a problem there. But on the injury front, I think everybody else is relatively healthy, and they've got a very underrated defense. Everybody thought last year that was their weakness, and it proved, especially in the playoffs and down the stretch, to be one of their strengths with the veteran guys they have. No, they don't have a big dynamic guy back there and a big name maybe, but they got some pretty solid defensemen that they're going to rely on heavily, along with their veteran goaltending, to keep pucks out of the net. And maybe early on with a Henrique out, they're going to have to win some tight, close, low-scoring games, something they've been accustomed to over the years, even though Pete DeBoer, Coach DeBoer, is really more of a puck pressure guy now. But I like their defense because they play well together. They don't make a lot of mistakes. No, they're not a team that has a lot of point production from the back end, but collectively last year in the playoffs, Bryce Salvador played out of his mind, and they're hoping that they can get at least 75% of that.
Ken, one final question for you. I wanted to get your thoughts. The big story here in Toronto today was the firing of Brian Burke, general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs. A lot of people were pretty surprised about the move. What did you think when you saw that Brian Burke was let go today, the same day that the NHL and the owners of all 30 NHL teams ratified the CBA, kind of over, being bigger than obviously the Burke story was bigger than the ratifying, it seemed.
Well, there's always surprises and things that we don't expect, and obviously the big question is the timing of it. However, maybe the Leafs upper echelon and ownership has been thinking about this for a long time. Look, I have a ton of respect for Brian Burke. He's one of the most respected guys in the game, and yes, he's a guy that speaks his mind. He doesn't beat around the bush, but we know in Toronto it is hockey mania. It's everything there, and they want to see the team get in the playoffs and produce. And I guess they felt that they hadn't been going in the right direction. But Brian Burke, if he's out of the game, he won't be out too long because he's very respected throughout the league, and I really like his attitude. He's a guy that is a no-nonsense guy, hard-nosed. He's a little bit old school, so I kind of like those guys. But that's the nature of the beast. It's a tough business. It's what have you done for me lately? And obviously the Leafs decided to make a change. But, yeah, everybody was somewhat surprised, certainly of the timing of it, and probably nobody surprised more than Brian Burke himself.
Yeah, I know Brian was pretty surprised, too. I saw a couple of tweets today that some friends that were close to him were said that he was pretty shocked, and I don't blame him. But as you mentioned, the new ownership here in Toronto, and I guess they wanted to bring in their own guy. So right now it's Dave Nonis who's the interim GM of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Josh, obviously, so they brought a guy in that's been around the game and was a general manager in Vancouver. So only time will tell whether it turns out to be a good decision.
Absolutely. Well, Ken, as always, really enjoy having you on the program. Glad we can finally talk some hockey and not talk CBA anymore. Really appreciate you taking the time to be with us. We'll definitely get you on another time, and I'll get you on a little bit earlier next time, Ken.
My pleasure, Josh, anytime, and let the games begin.
Absolutely. Game on. Thanks, Ken.
Take it easy, guys.
Take care, buddy.
All right, bye.
That was Ken Daneyko, the former NHLer and current hockey analyst for the New Jersey Devils on the TV network side. I want to thank Ken for joining us on the show. We're going to head to break. Coming up next, we're going to tee up what's up in hour number 2. Don't go away. More of Nitecap when we continue.